All right, welcome to another episode of Two Bros, One Beard. I'm Michael. It's my brother John.
What's up?
For starters, we apologize for the extended absence. It's been a while since we did our last video. Just couldn't quite get our schedules matched up. But today we're going to review not an album that's not really in the metal genre, but she certainly is. And it's the new Floor Jansen solo album called Paragon. We're kind of late to the party. I think the album came out a little over a month ago, about a month ago.
Yeah, it was March 24th.
Okay, late March. Yeah. Yep. So I was really excited for this one because I've always been a huge fan of her voice, but I'm not really a Nightwish fan. I'm not a Revamp. She was in Revamp, right? That was her previous band. Not a fan of that band. And then
or After Forever.
Yeah, or After Forever. And then she did a project with Jorn Viggo Lofstad, which is he's a Norwegian guitarist. He was a guitarist for Jorn and Pagan's Mind. They did a project called Northward, so that was more of like a straight heavy rock album, which I thought was pretty good. But mostly I just love her work with Arion on 01 or 01 or The Source. And to me, I've always considered her one of the best singers in the world, if not the best, certainly amongst females. And I'm not a huge female vocalist fan, but I love her voice. I was excited. Finally, she's getting a full-on solo record. And my first impressions were, I just love that this record really centers around her voice. It's all about her voice. The music's really stripped down. It's mostly drums and keyboards. There's light guitars. She doesn't have to sing over a big symphonic metal arrangement or heavy guitars or something like with Nightwish. And the vocal performances on this record are just jaw-dropping. She effortlessly showcases her vocal range, and then I just think these songs just fit her voice perfectly. Not a lot of the more opera style, which I like. It's more of her straight pop sounding voice. And super strong melodies. And her voice is just the definition of beauty. So on top of that, I'm just, quite captivated by her as well. On top of her voice. So I love the new music videos are awesome. But John, what are your first impressions before we talk about kind of specific songs we really liked on this record?
Well, it's very pop, and I actually had no idea what to expect. I certainly didn't think it was going to be another kind of symphonic metal project similar to Nightwish. I had no idea. And it is a very conventional kind of pop record. Yeah. So that was certainly one of my first impressions. And it's very very immediate, there's not a whole lot that's going to challenge the listener. Every song is under 4 minutes, and it's just kind of it says what it needs to say, gets right to the chorus, and it's very, very conventional song structures and things like that. And really, kind of sparse arrangements. And like you said, her voice is extremely prominent on the whole thing. I will say that knowing what she's capable of and having kind of heard all facets of her voice and different things she can do, whether it's been with Nightwish or Revamp, I think that, this definitely touches on a certain side of her voice, but there is a lot that's untouched. And so I think that stuck out to me when on the first couple listens was, oh, okay. So we're really showcasing this one side, but we're not showcasing the others.
Yeah. But I feel like she's showcased that in other projects. So it's this is more like making a super accessible record. To me, it's as good as any of the, super popular contemporary pop stuff. The lyrics are much stronger. I think she'll bring in a much larger audience, I think, with this record.
Yeah.
And I think that was a good idea. Just try to get, I mean, she should have released a solo album a long time ago. But to just get her voice out there, more recognition. Obviously, she's going to be opening for Metallica. By the time this video comes out, she would have already opened for them. So that's huge. So yeah, I think it was just exactly what I was looking for. This is what I wanted. You know, I love her voice. I wanted, you know, something that's just completely centers around her singing, and she writes great melodies too. It's just super catchy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just a great record.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let me go into a little bit about the album. So like we said, it came out a little over a month ago. It was March 24th. So it's primarily a collaboration with this guy named, I'll try here, Gordon Gruthed.
Okay.
And he's kind of the main songwriter along with her, and supplied pretty much the entire instrumentation for the most part. He's credited with bass, drums, not drums on every track, but a handful, guitar, piano, keyboards, all the programming.
Okay.
There's a few other collaborators on here, but he's kind of the main collaborator. Not someone I've ever heard of. I was actually kind of surprised that at least one track to have Hans, her husband or fiance, at least drum for one track, but
maybe his just drumming style wouldn't quite.
Yeah, maybe not.
I mean, I'm sure he could do whatever, but
yeah, I just thought that I found it interesting, but or even, you know, some backup vocals from her sister or something like that on there. But
yeah, she did on that Northward project. Her and Irene sang a duet, but yeah, that is a little surprising.
Gotcha. There's even a couple tracks where Gordon is, looks like 3 tracks that Gordon is has pretty much sole writing credit. So it's kind of what you'd expect from, not to go on too much of a tangent here, but from a lead singer's solo record, you know, where we saw this with like Ray Alder's album even, or James LaBrie's, where
James LaBrie, yeah.
You know, while they may be supplying perhaps all the lyrics or most of them, certainly the vocal melodies and things like that, they sort of latch on to, okay, who's going to be kind of my songwriter here to supply the music that I can provide the melodies and the lyrics to. And that's like an age-old thing. It's the way Ozzy worked. And
I always think, because you mentioned like a singer's solo album, they really should be the only ones with solo albums unless they don't have another band, right? So like a Steve Vai solo album's fine. A Michael Romeo solo album is just Symphony X with another singer. That's stupid, right?
Well, unless they decided to take a completely different musical approach.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, for instance, you know, we're going to talk about Metallica soon, but Kirk Hammett did an EP, I think it was last year, and it is very different from anything he's done with Metallica. As a matter of fact, it's well, we'll talk about that later, but it's very good.
Too big of a tangent, but
and so I think it's appropriate sometimes, but I see your point though. Yeah. We've got to come up with an example of if there's a singer who did a solo thing and it was like completely their originals. I think probably Ross Jennings is a good example. His solo record is in fact,
I
mean, because he's a multi-instrumentalist and all that stuff, and he's the main songwriter.
Obviously a Neil Morse, but
obviously,
yeah. Other than that, there's not too many. I mean,
no, I guess not.
Yeah.
But so what do you think of some of these tracks? I mean, were there any in particular that stood out to you?
I mean, I think I listed 5, but the whole record was great to me. There's not a bad song on it. The openers, I mean, the title track, or basically the title track, My Paragon. I mean, it's as catchy as it gets. There's so many songs that just sound like a Eurovision winner to me.
Well, speaking of, I think we have a clip of this song, so go to that real quick.
Let's roll the clip. That's the wrong clip.
That's the wrong clip. Hold on. I'll get the right one up.
Let's go to the correct clip.
Okay. All right, here we go. But yeah, I mean, cool video there, and
yeah,
she did she did a handful of videos actually for this record, and a lot
did.
of them were kind of.
It's a really beautiful, cool landscape, and I think the young girl in the video is her daughter, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Which is kind of clever and seems to kind of tell, this song seems to tell a story about her life or growing up, and it's like various stages of her life seem the the other two girls seem to indicate that. And yeah, just a really, really nice video, beautifully shot, and love that song. Yep.
Yeah, and it's cool. It starts off with a good energy and kind of a nice pace, and then it slows things down a little bit with Daydream. And
Daydream is another one I love. That was almost an Evanescence feel with a European flair to it. Another huge chorus on that one. It almost turns into like a rock anthem. So that's like the closest to more of a rock song there.
Right.
But yeah, really powerful there. And then Invincible be another Eurovision entry if I was picking. Just super catchy. And I mean, there's a nice groove to the song. This song reminded me of like an Avantasia, more of the poppier Avantasia songs. If it was on the Avantasia record, it would be the best off the new Avantasia record. She is on it. She is on the new Avantasia record, and that's pretty decent song. But this one just had such a cool rhythm to it. I love the arrangement, the drums and the bass in particular. So this song also made me think like, man, I would love to see. I don't know like what songs she's doing live, if she's doing mostly just this solo album, but just to have her on stage with an orchestra behind her would be really cool. I don't know what the setup is, if she just has a regular band with her, but that's what I just envisioned after hearing this song.
Yeah, for sure. The one that stuck out to me on every listen is Come Full Circle.
Yeah, same here. And that's my favorite. That is my favorite track on the album as well.
Yeah, it's really good. It's got a great groove. To me, it's like it's got a super ABBA flair to it, which I really
It does, yeah. Dig. Just that melody is infectious as it gets. It's so good.
Kind of one of those, just puts a smile on your face. It's good stuff.
Yeah, to me, it's like a cross between like 80s Pat Benatar and then like with the European pop flair as well.
Sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. The chorus is insane, but I think it's either the bridge or the main verse that is just, it's so rhythmically pleasing. That's what I wrote down. That's a song that I just kept replaying because it was so catchy.
Absolutely. I was gonna say Me Without You, which I believe was one of the ones credited to Gordon Gruthit. Yeah, it is.
Okay, that's like one of the more like stripped down.
It is
songs. Yeah, more of a ballad.
It is more of a. It's to me was the most. So here's where I'm coming from on this. Obviously, I don't listen to a lot of pop music, but the couple of artists I do listen to, I celebrate their entire catalog. So that would be like Sarah McLachlan and Alanis Morissette. Okay. And Alanis Morissette in particular, what I love is that she's got by this point a handful of songs that are just very traditional pop arrangements and that sort of thing. But she also has a way with her collaborators of coming up with some stuff that's just really different. I thought this track in particular was the one that reminded me most of that type of pop writing.
Okay.
And actually, one of my expectations going into this was that I hoped I would get a little bit of that kind of sound.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to listen to pop music, that's kind of what I want. I want something that's going to just kind of shake up my expectations a little bit and just be a bit different. Yeah. And I thought this was probably the most, and I'm sure she's an influence, but Me Without You is kind of the most like Alanis Morissette sounding kind of song on the record. So I like that one. It was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple more, I would say, honorable mentions would be track 6, Storm and Armored Wings. These ones had more of a whereas the other songs had more of a European flair. I thought these had more of a contemporary American pop sound.
Okay.
And these are like two songs where they should be charting well in the United States. You know, if anyone had a clue who she was here in the States, but
well, and that's the thing is, this is very much unlike what is popular in pop music in the United States. I don't know how familiar you are with some of the stuff that's...
Well, I mean, I still think some of these songs, I mean, I'm not a fan of theirs, but like something like Pink or like Kelly Clarkson type stuff, I feel like if you're into that, which I'm not, but or even like Taylor Swift or Adele or something, like if you like that stuff,
yeah,
you should you should love this album. So
and it should and I think should challenge you a little bit more.
Yeah, so there's actual like the lyrics there, I mean there's some deepness to the lyrics. They seem to be, I mean, it's just a more intelligent record. I mean, you read the lyrics of most modern pop songs and you just get dumber. So these I mean, there's some intelligent lyrics, and it seems to be like a deeply personal record.
Sure.
Which I like. It's easy to connect with. Yeah, so it's an amazing record.
Right on. Yeah. So I just want to close my thoughts out on this one with my only disappointment, or perhaps maybe just hope for the next one, is that while we have 10 songs here that I wouldn't say they're similar, but they neatly fit into a particular genre. Mm-hmm. It would be really cool at some point for her to do something that perhaps showcases all those different facets of her voice. And to be fair, I don't even think Nightwish does that. That's one of the things that I've been most disappointed about, whether it was the last one, Human Nature, or the one before that. I thought, man, you know, does Tuomas realize who he has singing for him at this point?
So frustrating.
And I hope for this new one, which I guess is finished, and they've had the demo done for a while, that starts to kind of connect. But, you know, I think that when you let
her do her thing. It's like,
well, yeah, or write for her to be able to do that. That's really the thing. When you look at her entire body of work, you know, all the way from like early After Forever stuff to now, I mean, I think, and not to mention just, you know, when she was on that TV show, kind of like their equivalent of, I forget what it's called, but I mean, there's some stuff where I think for us as fans, it's fair to say at this point, like, we know what she's capable of. Mm-hmm. Being able to capture that in something that's a digestible record, a 45-minute record or something like that. That's what I'd really love to see. So I'm not saying a record full of like Nightwish clones, but maybe there's a track that's perhaps highly orchestrated and it really allows her to just belt and show off that operatic side.
Yep.
And then there's some of this stuff that we're getting on Paragon, and just throw in one extreme song where she does her, because she can do the extreme singing too.
Yeah, that I haven't heard. Was that like more in the revamp?
Revamp.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe After Forever too. I'm not too familiar with their stuff.
Okay.
But just to kind of give us a little bit of everything, I think that would be a really interesting solo record too, because it would mix so many different genres together into a really interesting package. But as it stands, I think you hit it on nail on the head there. It's like, especially for folks who are already kind of into this female-fronted singer-songwriter type stuff, this should really blow you away, you know. And I think this needs to get out to a wider audience somehow.
Yep, she deserves to be a world-renowned vocalist. So I love this record. I think, you know, this is our first non-metal review. This album may crack my top 5 by the end of the year. I was that impressed by this album. So it was exactly what I wanted. Yep. Cool.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, thank you for checking out our latest video. Hopefully we'll have them out more often in the coming weeks and months ahead. We appreciate if you would like and subscribe as well. And we will catch you on the next one. Take care.
Take care, everyone.